everyone, it's Alyssa, and today I want to go over what are my top 10 favorite true life stories that are streaming on Netflix with 2 bonus movies, and then after that just go over the Blu-ray releases that are coming out this week. If you just wanted to see that, then I will leave a link of the timestamp below and you can just skip ahead. So I want to start out by saying that this is American Netflix where I got these movies from. I know that I have people who are subscribers in the UK, and I just wanted to let them know I'm not sure if these movies are on your version of Netflix, but I really recommend them regardless. So, you know, whether you have them on Netflix or not, you should definitely go and try to check them all out. All right, so starting off, number 12. This is my bonus. So, The Queen of Katwe, and that stars David Oyelowo and Lupita Nyong'o, and this is the real life story of a girl from Uganda who becomes basically a chess prodigy and is able to move up from her station, and it's a Disney movie and it makes you feel really good and you really care about the characters, and it's very, very sweet. So if you just want to watch something that is sweet and emotional and inspirational, that is a great film. Coming in at number 11, I put Philomena, and that stars Judi Dench, and that is based off of the story of a woman who was forced to give her child up for adoption, doesn't have contact with him for almost her entire life, and then when she's older, she goes with a journalist to try to find him and find his story and see what happens. And it's such a sweet story, but it's surprisingly funny and emotional, and I would be very surprised if you're not crying at the end. It's just one of her great performances and a really heartbreaking true story. All right, now for the top 10. So number 10, I put The Founder, and that is about Ray Kroc and how he went in and tried to change McDonald's and made it into a franchise and basically stole the restaurant from the 2 McDonald's brothers. So Ray Kroc is kind of the face of McDonald's, but he's kind of an asshole. He's not a nice guy, and he finds very legal loopholes to get around and manipulate these 2 individuals in certain ways. And while it's not the best film, as in like the cinematography and whatnot, I always think if David Fincher made this movie, it would be awesome. But the performance by Michael Keaton is top notch. Like, he plays Ray Kroc and he is brilliant. He's perfect. I thought he really should have gotten nominated for a Best Actor nomination. He's so engaging. All right, so number 9, I would put the Stanford Prison Experiment, and that's a psychological test that actually took place in Stanford, I think either the 60s or 70s, and they took 24 boys and they said 12 of you are going to be prisoners, pretend like you're prisoners, 12 of you are going to pretend like you're guards. And at first it was kind of fun and everyone's joking around and it really is like a big joke, but the longer they have the experiment going, the more the guards start acting like the guards and the prisoners start acting like the prisoners, and it really does bring up that point of, do we become the person that we are told we are? And it's a great psychological piece, great from a philosophical perspective. Stars Billy Crudup and a bunch of great younger actors like Ezra Miller, and it really goes to a pretty dark place. I think you're going to note that a lot of these movies are all about America and how it's sort of the underbelly of America and how things aren't exactly what they seem. And, you know, I love British movies so much, but I guess for me personally, with true life stories, these kind of, I don't want to say negative depictions of America, but slightly negative, are always really interesting to me. So coming in at number 8 is Zodiac, and that's about the Zodiac killer. That is actually directed by David Fincher, and I think this is one of his most underrated movies. So it stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Downey Jr., and Mark Ruffalo, and Jake Gyllenhaal plays a cartoonist who's actually brought in to start decoding the Zodiac killer's writing and figure out what he's saying and who he's killing next. And it's a very slow police procedural. It's very dark. It's a longer film for David Fincher, but just so very interesting. And they actually made it before they found out who the real Zodiac killer is. So if you don't know, that's actually the professor from Gilligan's Island. True story. Honestly, he's the Zodiac killer. So moving on, at number 7, Quiz Show starring Ralph Fiennes, and this once again kind of shows a negative side to America. So this is about the quiz shows that were really popular in the 50s and the 60s, and this one in particular, I think it was called 21, something like that. That movie, that TV show was feeding answers to contestants. So this stars Ralph Fiennes and John Turturro. John Turturro is a very intelligent guy, but he's Jewish. And then Ralph Fiennes is also a very intelligent guy, and he's white. So they actually will feed a lot of the right answers to Ralph Fiennes, and they will tell John Turturro to purposefully lose. And it shocked the nation because people genuinely thought this TV show was real. And when they found out that they were cheating the system in that way, people were genuinely angry, and it sort of shows where we were in America at that time period. Coming in at number 6, a fun one. So this is Bottle Shock. This is about wine, so how could it not be fun? So it's about the Napa Valley and the vineyards that were just emerging in the 70s. This takes place in 1976, and it stars Alan Rickman, who I love and miss so much, and Chris Pine. And it's basically about a contest between the vineyard in Napa Valley and the French wines, and the French vineyards are saying there's no way that what they're doing in California is better. And it's a really fun movie. It's a really great ending, and Chris Pine's super funny in it. Coming in at number 5, very heavy, Schindler's List, which came out in 1993, and it's the kind of movie that if you haven't seen it, you just have to see it in your life. It's not going to be fun necessarily, you're not going to enjoy it, but it's just a really important story to watch. So this is about Oscar Schindler, who is a pretty greedy businessman in Germany, but he becomes a humanitarian when he sees what's going on with the Nazi regime, and he allows his factory to be a place where Jewish people are able to come. So it's a beautiful story. It's still heartbreaking. It's beautifully shot. It's black and white, and then every once in a while you have a pop of red. This is one of Steven Spielberg's most artistic looking films, but it's 3 hours long, and you really need to be in the right headspace. But if you don't watch Schindler's List, you are doing yourself a huge disservice. So you absolutely must watch that movie. Coming in at number 4 is Spotlight. This just came out in 2015, so it's about the Boston Globe and how they end up uncovering the child molestation scandals in the Catholic Church. And it's all about journalism and their investigation process, and it's slow, and it's supposed to be slow. This is a brilliant film with Mark Ruffalo, Michael Keaton, Rachel McAdams. I feel like I'm naming a lot of the same actors here, but I guess they make really good true life movies. And it's just an incredibly realistic film, and you feel like you are one of the journalists, and every time you hit something and you think that you've got like an edge, you got an in, they lose it, and it's very realistic. Okay, number 3, this is the movie that I think feels the most like me. So it's called Beginners, and it stars Ewan McGregor and Melanie Laurent, and he's this guy in his late 30s who's still kind of trying to figure out his life, and he meets this girl. He's not so great at relationships, but at the same time, he finds out that his elderly father, who is also very sick, just comes out as gay late in his life. And he says, "Hey son, here's my boyfriend, I'm gay." And it's Ewan McGregor trying to take it all in and figure out who he is, and figure out his relationship with his father, and like, did he know him? He starts feeling like, was their relationship a lie, or the relationship with him and his mother, was that a lie? So it's a really sweet film. It's funny, it's dramatic, and it's super quirky. There are a lot of stripes and a lot of polka dots, so obviously I like that. But it's just a really well-made film, and it's based on the director's actual life and what he went through. Coming in at number 2, I have it right here, and the computer, of course, just shut down, is from Vale Station. Oh, such a good movie. So this movie is about Oscar Grant, true life story about the 22-year-old who was shot by police for absolutely no reason at all. So the movie's structured where you get a day in the life of Oscar Grant. It's the day that he dies, and you see the relationship with his mother, with his girlfriend, and how he wants to be a better person. And then he gets on this train and there's a fight, and the police come running, and basically anyone they think was even associated with this fight they put on the ground, and he ends up getting shot by one of the policemen for absolutely no reason. This is such an upsetting movie. Michael B. Jordan does an incredible job as Oscar Grant. He should have gotten a nomination, but he didn't. But this is just one of those heart-wrenching movies that's very timely, and I think a pretty important film to watch today. So coming in at number 1, shouldn't be too much of a surprise for people who know me, but The Big Short. So this movie stars Ryan Gosling, but this is not the reason that this is my favorite true life story. It's because Adam McKay wrote and directed this, and he tells it in such a creative way, such a clear way, taking a subject that is so boring, looking at like the housing bubble and having to explain that and having to make it entertaining, engaging, funny, and he does all of that, and he never sacrifices intelligence. And to me, that's the best kind of filmmaker. I am literally getting chills right now thinking about this movie. I want to watch it right this second. But it's so interesting to see the housing market and have it explained to me in a way that, one, I understood, and 2, you really get to see the people that were affected. I didn't really know how it started in Florida and how people were selling houses to individuals that clearly could not afford it. And it's such an interesting film. It's lively. There's not a second that's boring, and you really need to pay attention and listen, because the script is fast-paced and it's super sharp, and there are no loose ends with this movie. So those are my recommendations, just to go over it one more time. Coming in, let's see if I can do it without looking at the computer screen. I don't know. So coming in at number 12, we have The Queen of Katwe. Number 11, Philomena. Number 10, The Founder. Number 9, The Stanford Prison Experiment. 8, Zodiac. 7, Quiz Show. 6, Bottle Shock. 5, Schindler's List. 4, Spotlight. 3, Beginners. 2, Fruitvale Station, and coming in at number 1, The Big Short. Oh my god, I did it. I didn't look. Okay. And really quick, just to go over the Blu-rays for this week, there's some bad ones. So it's Transformers: The Last Night, starring Mark Wahlberg, I was going to say Ruffalo again, and Josh Duhamel, directed by Michael Bay. Seriously, I was done with this whole franchise after the first one. I will not be watching this. And then the second one is 47 Meters Down, which is like what a lot of movies are like, these shark movies, where it's Mandy Moore and I think, what's her name, Claire Holt, was that what it was? And they're down in like one of these enclosures where they can see the sharks. The little rope gets cut and they're stuck with the sharks. They don't have oxygen. Not really interested, but that's it for today. I would love if you guys left me a comment. What did I leave out? Obviously, I haven't seen every true life story that's streaming on Netflix. I tend not to watch biopics, traditional biopics, so there really aren't any here. They all feel like film cinema. They don't follow the traditions of a biopic, but I would love to hear what you guys have watched. If you've seen any of these movies and you enjoyed them or you hated them, just let me know. I love talking about movies, so just leave a comment so that I have someone to talk to movies about. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and make it a Cinema Chic night. Thank you guys. Bye.